Hello, my name is Randy, and this is how I made a Bubsy.exe game in only 5 hours and 10 minutes. For those of you who don't know what an EXE game is, an EXE game is generally a haunted or corrupted version of a beloved franchise, Sonic being the most commonly done, and probably the original one to kickstart the idea. I think the original concept was that somebody managed to port the game to PC as an executable file, thus the EXE file extension name, but it got corrupted or possessed, blah blah blah. Anyway, Luigikid, a YouTuber I think everyone should check out, link to his channel in the description, hint hint, started his third creepypasta challenge, and I was like, oh wow, that sounds great. But gosh darn, I have to work on Unit Down to get it ready for its release in Steam, in October. So I don't really have time to participate in this round. So yeah, I work on Unit Down. And time passes, and the deadline for the Creepypasta Challenge suddenly hits, and I'm like, thought that was the end of it, but I wake up to a message from Luigikid. He says the deadline is extended a couple of days and wants to know if I'm able to finish a submission by then. And, well, I didn't start anything. So I said, you know what? Sure. The first part of the live stream was just brainstorming. Shoutouts to Misty Starling and Chaco Nyan's Mugen? That person. For the great ideas that they gave. A lot more people showed up than I expected, and I'm very thankful for that, so thank you guys. Even Luigikid popped in to say hi to everyone. He's freaking awesome. He's super cool. You really should go check him out. I can't stress this enough. Anyway, timer blasted away. I spent a considerable amount of time finding assets and importing them into the game because, look at this. Normally, I don't mind this kind of work, and the extra time is not usually an issue, but with the time ticking, it kind of put a pressure on me I wasn't expecting. Luckily though, I was able to start programming the game pretty quickly. And let me tell you, Bubsy is not a great character to control. I mean, his original game was a mess too, but to replicate that movement for a small EXE game was not an easy task, I will have to tell you that now. But it happened. I got him to run, speed up, slow down, jump, idle, and it only took me 2 hours. Oh, 2 hours. Yeah, nearly half my time was gone, and I only really got the game barely started. I got the base game and nothing more. I had to buckle down. So I made the enemies and tried my hardest to make it look and behave like the original with as little time as I could spend on it. But it didn't feel right, so I just kept tweaking it over and over because I wasn't convinced it felt like the original. You see, I have this thing where I like to make the original game and replicate it as best I can, then make it progressively or suddenly get dark and, well, spooky. Okay, so now it's time for the spooky stuff. After completing the end of the stage, the player will get teleported to a darker version of the world. A really simple color palette change, purples, reds, and saturation turned down by half, altered the ground, put a dark shadowy overlay, removed items, etc, etc. Really simple stuff I always do all the time. Then the fun part of making the evil versions of the enemies. I don't remember their names or what they're called, but I'm not really sure if I care too much. But I think they came out awesome. Them in their weird panting. Good. And after making them vibrate and act like they're going to pounce on you, we decided to have the ground collapse under you instead. I did a whole following animation thing, realized the Among Us reference that'll happen, and then I used Super Metroid sprites and turned them into a cave system to run through. So I needed some more gameplay, and I wanted to use the yarn pickups somehow again, but I felt like they were too bright and wanted to make them feel uneasy to pick up. Something you just really didn't want to pick up. So I made them glitch and turn into a floating bloody Bubsy head. Not a sentence I thought I'd have to say out loud. Anyway, after that, you run along, and run along, and run along. You run a lot. The game was short. I had little to work with. That was 5 hours. Then bam! Naked feral Bubsy.
Okay, I think we're dead. What is this big fat Bubsy monster? Yeah, I think it won't spare us. It definitely is not sparing us. I expect it to eat me. This is going wrong!
Okay, I admit making the sprites for Naked Feral Bubsy was abnormally fun, and I literally had no time to waste on details, so it is actually quite efficient. But I had to make sure it looked good, and it was the last thing you see from the game, and it had to have some sort of impact. But after all that, and we put it together and rendered the game, magic happened. The game was done, and therefore nothing left to do. Except I needed sound, so I gave myself an extra 10 minutes and threw in music, quick edits, and reused altered sound effects from previous entries. And then, Bubsy Emulator.exe was born! I could say that better. Born! Wait, hold on. Born! Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this kind of video, let me know in the comments so I know to make more. Thank you to everyone who joined the live stream, and a huge shout out to Luigikid for giving me such a great excuse to make this game. Stay proper. See ya.